All right. Good afternoon and welcome to the meeting of the Governor's Interagency Advisory Council on Homelessness to Housing for Technical Assistance Committee. This meeting has been publicly noticed in compliance with Nevada's open meeting law. Chair Michelle Fuller-Hellauer will call the meeting to order.
Good afternoon and welcome to the meeting of the Governor's Interagency Council on Homelessness to Housing Technical Assistance Committee. This meeting has, I'm sorry, I'm doing the wrong thing. Good afternoon. It is 1:02 on July 15th, 2025. I'd like to call the meeting of the Nevada Interagency Council on Homelessness to Housing for Technical Assistance Committee to order. Abigail, would you take roll, please?
Yes, absolutely. Chairwoman Michelle Fuller-Hellauer.
Present.
Vice Chair Brooke Page.
Present.
Aston Pollard.
Present.
Dr. Pamela Janelle.
Present.
Chris Murphy. Adrienne Babbitt.
Present.
Julie King.
Present.
Dr. Diana Turner. Dr. Katrina Grigsby Thedford.
Present.
Okay, Ms. Chairwoman, we have quorum.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you, members, for being here. We have an exciting agenda today. Agenda item number 2 is public comment. No action may be taken on a matter raised until the matter has been specifically added to the agenda. Comments are limited to 3 minutes. If you are making a public comment on the phone, please call 1-775-321-6111. The ID number is 489-058-294#. We are now open for public comment. Please unmute yourself and state your name for the council. And if you are calling virtually, you need to unmute your mic in order to give public comment. Any public comment?
Hi, this is Arash Ghafouri, the MPHY. I'm going to be presenting together. Just want to say thank you for having me today. And I see there's some possible vacancies, so just curious what that's about and if there's any way we can help with that.
Thank you, Arash. Thank you for being here. And yes, we will actually talk a little bit more about the vacancies. So listen in when we get to one of the agenda item when we talk about the membership. Any other public comment?
Hi, this is Dr. Pam Janelle for the record. Good to see everyone here on this meeting. I just wanted to share some quick information. The statewide homeless app is being built, and I just wanted to let you know I sent out an email to a ton of people, but I know it's vacation season, so I will send it out once again for your support and being listed as providers on the app, as well as getting some feedback about the look and the feel of the app and any input that you would like to give. I know that's not actionable, but I just wanted to let you know I would be sharing more information. So thank you all for your time.
Congratulations on that, Dr. Janelle. That's been a long time coming. So we'll be excited to see that app when that is up and running. So congratulations. Any other public comment?
This is Dr. Katrina over here at the Nevada Homeless Line. So I just want to share with the team, that our 2025 statewide conference on addressing homelessness is going to be occurring on September 29th and 30th in Las Vegas at the College of Southern Nevada Charleston location. So tickets are on sale now. And the request for proposals or presentations is open and available. I'll drop, I don't know if I can drop the links in here, but I'll share them with who I need to share it with so that the rest of you guys can get that information if you're interested. Thank you.
Thank you, Katrina. Yes, if you could share that information with Abigail and her team, they will make sure that it gets sent out. Any other public comment?
I had one more quick question, and I'm so glad to see Mr. Arash on. Do you have a date for the MPHY Summit?
Thank you. I didn't want to speak out of turn. I was going to wait to the next public comment, but yes, it's going to be November 14th. That is the tentative date. We had a venue secured, but that venue is going to be under construction, it seems like. So we're just hoping that the date doesn't have to change, but we'll know in 1 week for sure. But right now it is tentatively November 14th, which is a Friday. And happy to announce this will be our last year of a 1-day format. We're going to have to join Katrina's ranks of going to a 2-day because we just can't get it done in a day anymore, which is a good problem, which is a great problem. But so this is the last year of 1 year, and then we're going to switch to a 2-year or 2-day.
Thank you, sir.
Of course, thank you.
Thank you. That is a great problem to have. As long as we have youth homelessness, it will be really excited when we don't have youth homelessness and need to have a youth summit to end homelessness for our youth.
Correct, exactly. In light of the crisis, it's a good thing until the point where we don't have to meet as often.
Exactly. Thank you for that. Other public comment? Abigail, has there been any public comment sent in?
There's none.
Okay. All right, last call for public comment before we move on. As a reminder, there is another public comment period at the end of the meeting. So if something comes to mind during the meeting, feel free to utilize that last public comment period to voice your thoughts or let us know about events or things that are taking place at the end of the meeting. With that, I will end this agenda item and we will move on to agenda item number 3. This is for discussion and possible approval of the minutes for June 17th, 2025. For our members, you should have received a copy of the minutes in your appointment notice. I will entertain any discussion on those minutes. If there is no discussion, then I will entertain a motion for approval.
This is Adrienne Babbitt. I move to approve the minutes.
Okay, we have a motion for approval. Do I have a second?
This is Julie King. Second that motion.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please unmute your mic and indicate by saying aye.
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 Aye. Dr. Janelle, we couldn't hear you. I saw your mouth moving, but
Aye.
all those, any opposed, please unmute your mic and indicate by saying nay. Any abstentions? Motion carries. This item is closed. We will move on to agenda item number 4 for discussion and possible vote to fill the vacant seats with candidates who have submitted their applications. As far as I am aware, we have not had any applications since our last meeting to fill vacant seats. Is that accurate, Abigail?
Madam Chairwoman, we actually have one sent in this morning. and we sent the letter of interest, to that applicant. We're just waiting for the applicant to get back to us with that.
Okay, so we will not vote on that this morning or this afternoon, but
No.
we will have that on next month's agenda. But I would like to take this opportunity to ensure that anyone who is listening in knows that we do have vacancies on this committee, and what you will do is go out to the state website. Abigail, would you make sure that folks have the link for that? You can put that in a link or post that on the site or on the screen for folks?
Let me check. Last time we did send a listserv with a link. We can also do that if you want to.
Yes, or if anybody is interested that's listening, they can contact your team, correct, Abigail?
Yes.
And your email is?
That would be dwssh2h@dwss.nv.gov.
That's D as in dog, correct?
Yes.
DWSS. The requirements are to be available for our monthly meetings. We meet monthly, the third Tuesday of every month from 1 to 3:30 is when our meetings are blocked off. We don't always meet that full length of time, but we do block our calendars for that time period because there are some meetings that we do take that length of time. This is a working meeting, so when we get together, we work. And some meetings we have a lot of work to do, and some meetings it's pretty much getting information to help us with future work. There are some periods of time where we have some work that needs to be done outside of our meetings, but that's not on a very frequent basis. It just ebbs and flows depending on what it is that we are tasked to do by the Interagency Council on Homelessness to Housing. So if you're interested, you will go out to the state website, you will fill out an interest form, and then the Abigail's team, the Homelessness to Housing team will send a letter asking for a bit more information for you to respond with an actual letter saying why you think that you are the best qualified to be on the technical committee or the technical assistance committee, and to kind of give us a better understanding of who you are, what you do, and what you bring to the table.
And on your screen, Ms. Chairwoman, that's the homepage, and there's the link at the very bottom and where they can apply.
Thank you very much, Abigail.
Welcome.
I'll just pause just a second so folks have an opportunity to get that information. Anything else that I missed that any of our committee members want to add? Now's the time to help recruit other folks that are sitting in on the meeting. Don't be shy.
Am I getting the impression that we should not apply?
I would love for you to apply.
Okay, I'm starting to feel the excitement. I'm seeing some claps. Okay, all right. Okay, sounds good. But you guys are a lively bunch, so I hope okay, good. Well, thank you for the information, Michelle, and for whoever else is on the call. Thank you from all of us.
I think this team, we meet at 1 o'clock. I think we get the after lunch, kind of it's nap time, right? Folks want to take a nap, not have a meeting. Okay, so with that, any other comments or thoughts on this item before I close this item? Okay. Closing this agenda item, we will move on to agenda item number 5. This is particularly for our new technical assistance members. This is an introduction of our new and continuing members of the ICHH for technical assistance. So one of the things at our last meeting we recognized is that we didn't take an opportunity to introduce ourselves to our newest members and allow our newest members to really introduce themselves to us. So that's why that's on the agenda for this time. So we just wanted to take a few minutes out of the meeting and share a little bit about each other, ourselves with each other, so that we all have an opportunity to know, who we're working with, particularly for the newer members on our team. So is there anyone who would like to, is jumping out of their seat, waiting to share and go first? And Abigail, you could take the agenda down for this part if you want. So, and I'm hoping that our members will come on screen so we can see your faces.
Oh, that's
see who's who.
Is this part for new members or current members to introduce
It's
themselves?
for all of us. It's all of us who sit on the committee.
I think I'm a new member, right? I think this is my second meeting.
You are.
As an official member. So my name is Dr. Katrina. I'm the executive director of Nevada Homeless Alliance. And so I've been in this role since November 2021. Wow. It seems like it's been longer. And before that, I was in multiple capacities at the Salvation Army, from vocational case manager to women's drug and alcohol counselor to veterans services case manager to veterans services assistant coordinator. So I did a lot of things as it relates to veterans and substance use. I'm a licensed social worker and a certified drug and alcohol counselor supervisor and a peer recovery specialist supervisor. And at Nevada Homeless Alliance, I just spearhead the agency, just trying to have some growth to expand our services, more direct services, but trying to continue on the policy and advocacy piece, the education and training, the collaborations in the community, and of course, expanding our direct services. And so I think that's all I got for my brief introduction. And thank you for accepting me as a member of this group.
Thank you, Dr. Katrina.
Michelle, I can go next if there's no order.
No order.
Great. So this is Adrienne Babbitt, currently no title, hashtag exploring new opportunities. I have 15 years in housing experience. I started in cow country, upstate New York, working at a shelter plus care program and supportive living program, and then moved to Las Vegas, where I did direct service at a grant per diem transitional housing program. And then I moved to a state position with housing and urban development, and really excited to see some fresh membership here and getting quorum like all the time, right? Like that's really exciting, get some work done, and definitely will be looking forward to reading letters of interest to those that would like to participate. So that's what I got. Thanks.
Thank you, Adrienne.
Well, I hope I can introduce myself because I just invited myself to this meeting. So I hope it's okay. I can, oh, should I not?
Cheryl, if you're not on the board,
I
you're
don't
not.
think I am. Okay.
Then
But hi.
per state open meeting law, only board members are allowed to speak during the agenda items. So I'm sorry about that. I wish you could. In fact, I can speak for you. Congratulations on your interim director at our local HUD office, right? Is that your title at this point? So I would like to invite you to apply to be on the subcommittee, if you would like to do so.
I'll have to ask Adrian. Am I allowed to do that? Oh, okay, great. I'm new to this, so hey, I'll talk to Adrian offline.
So, okay, who's next?
I'll go next. So Julie King, I recently changed employers. I'm now with the Partnership Center. But I've been in the field of housing and homelessness for 20 years and a couple of months. Licensed social worker, but I do IT work basically. So that is a very short bio.
Thank you, Julie.
I'll go next. Hi, everyone. Brooke Page. I use she, her pronouns. And I actually have a new title as well. I've recently been promoted at CSH to Western Region Managing Director. So I'll be doing some recruitment for a Southwest Director position that recently posted. So if anybody is looking to come to explore supportive housing, would love for you to consider applying to CSH. We work in the intersection of housing and healthcare to address people with complex needs, youth, older adults, to address, expanding supportive housing. We've been working really hard in Nevada to help address policy change to create the infrastructure for more housing. So thank y'all.
Can you all hear me?
Hey, Austin.
I've been having my problems. I don't know what's going on with it. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Speak up some more, Austin, please.
No, hold on. Is this better?
Yes.
Okay. Gosh, I have way too many microphones on this. I'm Austin Pollard. I'm the manager of housing, SDOH, and justice programs with Health Plan in Nevada Medicaid. Grateful to be on here and grateful to see new faces.
Hi, everybody.
Thank you, Austin.
I'm Dr. Pam Janelle. I am the McKinney-Vento State Coordinator with the Nevada Department of Education. I've had the distinct honor of being on this group for almost 3 years now. Wow. Not only have I had the opportunity to learn a lot, but y'all have also helped me grow in my position and the work that I do. So I'm just really grateful to be here. And then I also wanted to put in a plug. Dr. Deanna Turner, who was one of our also new members, got pulled into a director's meeting today because, of course, we all know what's going on in the state of the cuts to education. But we are fighting a good fight. And I just wanted to let y'all know, because of our amazing Attorney General, our COVID funding got restored. So there were some contracts that were canceled, but now reinstated. And we're working on a statewide homeless app, as well as a few other things. So I will be definitely leaning in and leaning on all of you all for your expertise. So thank you for all that you do, because I'm able to do what I do because of what you do. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Janelle. And I think other than me, that's everybody from the committee that's on the call, I think. right? Okay. And I'm Michelle Fuller Hallauer. I'm a licensed master social worker, and I've been a social worker for almost 40 years, and yeah, long time. Started doing direct practice in behavioral health, and I've worked in the HIV/AIDS field. I've worked in families and children, as well as with the adults with severe mental illness, and I have also worked in workforce development, worked in management, and I've spent the last I spent over 2 decades helping to develop and oversee the homeless services system in Southern Nevada. And then almost 2 years ago, about 2 weeks shy of 2 years ago, I left my position with Clark County to start Winged Wolf Innovations, where I am the CEO, and we are a technical assistance and consulting firm where we work with communities and organizations who are hungry for change and innovation. And we work with them on redesigning their organization and their management style, their leadership style, and we do that through a variety of tools and mechanisms and trainings. So with that, I've worked with a lot of vulnerable populations, and I have a heart for serving those who need a voice. And I serve as the chair for the Interagency Council on Homelessness to Housing Technical Assistance Committee. So, and I am just blessed that you all allow me to do that. So thank you, and thank you for being here. So, okay. So with that, anybody have anything to add before we move on to our next agenda item? Okay, seeing none, we'll go ahead and close this agenda item, and we will move on to agenda item number 6. Report on the Youth Homeless Demonstration Program by the Nevada Partnership for Homeless Youth. Arash Ghafouri. Arash, thank you so much for being here. We are really excited to hear what is happening with YHDP and the kind of where we are. We were excited that we finally got YHDP in the state of Nevada. And so we're excited on, where we are, what the plans are, and what to expect.
Sure. Yes. Well, first of all, thank you to the committee for inviting me to speak on YHCP. Very appreciate it. It's really nice to see so many familiar faces. And Julie, it feels like forever since I've seen you. So congrats on your new position and role. But it's great to be among old colleagues and new friends. So thank you. And with that, really quickly, just want to say to Abigail that please note that you should have 2 applications now for this committee. So I did turn that around while still paying full attention to all of you. So anyway, really quickly about YHTP. So what is YHTP? Madam Chair, if you don't mind, I'll just jump right in. Perfect. Thank you. So what is YHCP? YHCP is the Youth Homelessness Demonstration Program. It's something that was launched by HUD in recognition of helping communities develop and implemented more coordinated youth-focused strategies to end youth homelessness. As Michelle sort of mentioned, this is the 8th round of YHCP funding, and Clark County as a community has been applying for 7 out of those 8 years. So we took 1 year off to not apply, but we are very happy to have, as Michelle pointed out, finally been awarded YHCP. So what are some of the key attributes of YHCP? Really quickly, it's dedicated to young people experiencing homelessness or housing instability, minors, and up to youth age 24. It is a grant award to the Southern Nevada Continuum of Care. The COC was awarded a little over $8.5 million for a 2-year demonstration project between years 2025 and 2027. Some of the eligible activities include housing projects. In fact, 50% of all the money used, regardless of how it's used, must be used for actual housing costs. That's mainly leasing and anything to support successful leasing. It also supports supportive services. It also supports system infrastructure improvement, think like data collection and HMIS, and most importantly, local planning and innovation. And HUD did allow for some flexibility through quote unquote special activities. And these are special activities are unique ways of using the funds that are typically not allowed in other HUD programs. For example, drop-in centers, host homes, transportation assistance, other things that normally aren't included in our traditional HUD housing monies or dollars. Um, Another big component is that youth leadership was built into this. It's really strong youth forward sort of leadership around the development, implementation, and awarding of the YHP dollars. And I'll explain that in a minute. But HUD did require and funds youth action boards, YABs, to lead the system design, the review of the applications, and of course, making the funding decisions. And it's very much community ownership themed, where the projects are locally determined based on identified need and through a youth-led planning process. So the process, I'm going to kind of go into the process of what it is and where our community's at, and then end with touching on kind of some opportunities and things to think about. And then I'm happy to take questions. So YHCP has multiple phases that unfold really quickly. I would say too quickly, with a strong emphasis on collaboration and youth leadership. So phase 1 was the planning phase. All YHCP communities, when they're awarded, they actually must create and submit a coordinated community plan called the CCP in 2 different parts to HUD prior to getting the money. So just being awarded YHCP, your first big step is that you have to show HUD that you have a coordinated community response plan, that you've collected data, that you've engaged young people, and that you have a plan on how to use these dollars to innovate, not just add more to the system, but to innovate and to help the data actually go the right direction that HUD wants it to. So some of those elements in order to prove to HUD that we're in a position to receive the money is that we created a system map, which includes a visual overview of youth homelessness systems, the providers, our referral points, and our funding streams. We also created a partner list for all the serving agencies, funders, school districts, government entities. We also created a governance structure, and that included creating formal roles for a core team. This was a group that met on a weekly basis to help drive the implementation of YHCP in our community, a planning team, which assisted in the same things, and of course, most importantly, a youth action board. And from there was a priority project types that were developed by the community with funding amounts and service requirements. For example, THRH, which is Transitional Housing Rapid Rehousing Hybrid. Diversion projects, think short-term crisis resolution to prevent the homelessness experience or to greatly mitigate it. And navigation projects, how do we improve the navigation of our system for our young people with a focus around enhanced case management and housing-focused navigation. So those are the areas that our community wanted to focus on. So how we did it, we had a core team that met weekly. This core team included YAB members, direct service providers, Clark County as a collaborative applicant, the Clark County School District, HUD technical assistance staff, and a county hired planning consultant. It also included the Youth Action Board. They met weekly throughout this and led every major planning and decision step. And youth were also compensated by the grant for their times and considerations. There was a planning team, and the way we did the planning team in Clark County is that we just expanded the existing youth working group, which is very active and very engaged, to become the planning team for this effort. And they met monthly and also did a 3-day, full day in-person planning to make sure that we could meet the deadlines of YHCP. We also conducted a community-wide survey and also, as I said before, made decision-making structures where youth were kind of leading the decision-making structures and the decisions being made. So that's what we did to prepare. And the local application process, which we just finished, we released the RFQ into the community. The community received 18 applications. The applications were reviewed by a scoring and ranking process. And that scoring and ranking process consisted of a panel of 8 members, 5 were youth, and then there's 3 adult partners for a total of 8. The process included individual and group reviews, and YAB was so diligent in the review process that they actually asked the community for an extra day or two to ensure they had a thorough and equitable review, which they achieved. Now, the results. So we submitted our applications as a community. It was a very quick turnaround for providers and others. YAB and others, that team was able to review them and go through scoring and ranking process and also take any questions. And just to kind of go over the breakdown so you can understand the type of interest there was 4 diversion projects and 2 were funded. There was 2 navigation projects and 2 of those 2 were funded. There was 1 HMIS project, which makes sense because there's only 1 HMIS applicant, and 1 was funded. There was 2 applications for permanent supportive housing, 1 was funded. There was 6 applications for transitional housing, rapid rehousing hybrid programs, 3 were funded. And there was 2 requests for transitional housing and 2 were funded. So in terms of the financial summary, there was 18 applications submitted and 11 of those 18 were funded. The community requested $13.5 million, but of course there was only $8.2 million available, and that was awarded excluding several $100,000 for the planning grant. So that was part 1 of the YHGP process. Now we're in the middle of part 2. And all of this started just a couple months ago, so it's happening and unfolding really fast. But part 2 of the CCP is due on August 1st, and our community is on track to be submitting everything accordingly. Right now, under development is the vision, mission, goals, and objectives of what we're going to do with this funding. We are detailing implementation steps that our community will take to start using the funding as of October 2025. Another thing that we have to submit is a YAB compensation and recruitment policy. And I'll just touch on that in a second, that has been one of the biggest kind of points of discussion throughout the country. So this is not an issue just in our community. In fact, HUD themselves admitted to us when that they were developing the YHCP applications, they had trouble figuring out how to compensate the youth that they hired to review the YHCP application. So compensation for young people is a very big and touchy subject, considering they're, some are unaccompanied, some have different statuses and protections, etc. So we as a community are trying to find a way to create consistent compensation and to do it in such a way where young people are informed and minimize their tax liabilities and other potential liabilities they don't know about, simply so they can be in service to our community with their lived experience. So that is why we are developing a compensation and recruitment policy. And we're also developing an initial CQI group, which is a continuous quality improvement group, to assess how we're doing on the implementation plans. So that's where we are now. And I just want to quickly say that the application has been super quick, but the community has really rallied together. We really saw everyone come together and be part of trying to make sure that this community got the money through a successful YHCP application, and then rallied to ensure that the money was released by HUD by October. So YAB has been a central role in all this. So kudos to the YAB here in Southern Nevada. They've been a leading force in the scoring, planning, and implementation of this. Youth also received support and training from Nevada partners, from Point Source, Clark County, the planning consultant, local providers like MPHY and HELP. And YAB has demonstrated deep leadership and insight and commitment throughout the process. So I just look forward to seeing what more they do throughout the implementation. So just as a quick review of all that, the first part of our CCP was submitted to HUD. We are now in the middle of submitting part 2. Local and scoring ranking process is now complete, and we anticipate all projects to be started and launched as of October 2025. So right now, we're awaiting HUD feedback on project applications. We're waiting for the formal grant agreement process and to correct any technical things that need to be corrected. And we'll get that feedback from HUD shortly after our submission. So that, in a nutshell, is where we're at. Some challenges encountered is I alluded to this before, was one, the federal time constraints. It was a super, super quick turnaround, and everyone had to learn at once, including the collaborative applicants, because this is a brand new system, brand new process, everything for everyone. In the midst of our community doing this, HUD, as some of you may know, had some changes going on, and they changed the entire TA of this process in the middle of the process. So that was kind of fun, realigning the HUD TA mid-process. But we had some curveballs during the ESTEP submission, but I'm very happy to report that we were able to navigate all those challenges successfully. The one big feedback we got from the community is that they wish that the 50% housing rule wasn't there, because the reality is it's really hard to run a high quality supported service program when 50% of the cost has to go to housing, especially when we teach our young people the 30% housing rule, which no more than 30% of your finances should go to housing. Similarly, we had trouble doing that. So providers had to come together and really be creative and create some cool partnerships to make that work. So that's the strength in the community coming together. And Madam Chair, unless you'd like me to specifically report to the group who received the funding, which would only take me about 30 seconds to do, I am done and ready for questions.
Thank you, Arash. You guys really have been busy. And it sounds like we've got some phenomenal work that has taken place, and we've got some exciting things to look forward to.
Yeah.
I will open it up to questions.
Madam Chair and group, I forgot one of the most exciting things of this, that if we are successful with YHCP, which we will undoubtedly will, at the end of the 2-year period in 2027, half of the total project award, which is 8.2 million and change, so about $4 million, will be permanently added to our COC award number for Southern Nevada. So whatever X was before, 15, 16 million, now we can add another 4, and that'll be permanently baked into our funding amount for our community. So getting YHCP is almost like a 15 to 20% boost in overall COC HUD investment into the Southern Nevada COC. So we're really excited about that too. So we're really excited about that too.
Exactly, and thank you for pointing that out, Arash. Okay, questions for Arash.
Well, Michelle, we got the DJ on the remix there. So yeah, question.
So I wasn't the only one that heard that.
No. Yeah, Brooke. I don't know if I'm fielding them, but I will.
I know you just go ahead and let me talk. I appreciate that. My fellow White Tiger. Arash, thank you so much for this great presentation, and congratulations on all the work that's been done to get to this point. This committee has been working to develop a action plan to Nevada's plan to end homelessness. And there's a interagency council that oversees kind of the efforts related to that. But I'm just curious if you believe if there are opportunities to align with the YHTP action plan and the work that you all are doing to sort of combine efforts and cross evaluate what this body is working on related to the action plan, and if there's opportunities to ensure that we are tracking the YHTP efforts and the efforts of this group and kind of what that could look like.
Brooke, fellow WT, as always, great question. Thank you for that question. So yeah, so undoubtedly there will be things coming from YHCP, but this planning process is, the YHCP planning process is really much more focused on the assessment of what the system needs and where it's deficient, and then where these monies can be used. So the first part of what I said is very much informative for, updating a statewide sort of plan. So undoubtedly, the short answer is yes, there will be things, and we'll be tracking, and we can report those out and align to those efforts once we know a little more about where they're at and how we can plug into that. But with that, I will answer that in another way too, which is that our community here in actually the state was actually awarded a grant from HUD called the Youth Homelessness Systems Improvement. And this, we MPHY applied on behalf of the state, and we received that award. That award only does two main functions. One, it continues investing in the existing Southern Nevada YAB, which I just talked about. It supports the formation and creation of a Northern Nevada YAB. And it also supports the formation and creation of a statewide YAB that will be unrelated to the focus of the regional YABs. And the second thing, Brooke and group, that supports is HUD is funding the development of a updated statewide plan to end youth homelessness. And I think that when we talk about like what that ends up looking like, that because we've been working very closely with DWIS, and DWIS has done, as I'm sure you guys all know, that the DWIS has done an updated youth homelessness kind of data assessment about what the landscape looks like. And then through the YESI grant, we're going to take that assessment and the same process that led to the regional plan and develop a statewide standalone plan. And we don't want to do that in a silo. So we want to make sure, and we have about a year and a half or two runway to do that, actually a year runway to do that. So we want to be working with this group and other groups. And Michelle, I already had been talking to Michelle about this, and Michelle and I have been talking about the statewide plan and figuring out how this can relate, whether the work that we do is that part of the plan or integrated into it, I'm not sure. But to answer your question, there's traction in that way. We are in the middle of working in that process, and we will make sure to the extent possible that we keep all the dots connected and aligned. So we're not duplicating work, but we're furthering work, if that makes any sense, which is why I think I should probably join this group. So that way we can consistently, be having those chats.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Any follow-up on that, Brooke, before Dr. Pam?
I
Or
thought
did
I
that
had a
make any
follow-up
sense?
question. No, you answered it because I was really curious about the statewide. Yeah, so I'm glad that that's part of the efforts, and you all already have funding to do that. So that's awesome.
Well, we have some funding. We're probably going to need a little more, but that's through YESI. That's not related to YHCP, but they're both highly related together. So part of YESI, as well as us hiring and working with groups to align the efforts of all the different things that YABs are working on between YESI, YHCP, and local communities and other funding streams. So there's a lot going on. They're getting pulled in too many different directions. There's not consistency around pay, et cetera. So we hope to see a lot of progress on that in the next year or so. And Dr. Pam, yes.
Yes, we finally got you here. Oh, but go ahead, Michelle, please.
Before Dr. Pam asks her question, I want to follow up with something that you were just talking about, Arash. When you get to the point where you get that alignment for your YAB and your YABs and a sense of kind of things shake out, right? Because I just heard you say that you've got a lot happening, a lot of moving parts with YHGP and PHY and YHSI. Would you let this group know, let us know, so that we can ensure that you come back and let us know where things land, and inform us on what the future holds, where we are with things with our young people.
Absolutely. I'll make sure to provide some sort of regular updates, and forgive me if I'm being a little ahead of myself or even gauche to just suggest this all of a sudden, but I do predict and hope that some of the members in this group are part of the statewide youth plan effort, and also be related to the work that we do with the development of the statewide YAB, which will have a very different focus than the regional YABs.
I'm hoping that is the case as well. but again, we want to make sure that we're very intentional in having report backs and making sure that everybody is in the loop on the work that is taking place with our young people statewide. So we want to make sure that you have a regular space on our agenda to report back.
Yeah, sounds good. It'd be a privilege and an honor, and this is a great group because I know you guys all would have great ideas, suggestions, or other ways to plug in and further the work. So thank you, Michelle, for that.
Thank you, Rush. Okay, Dr. Pam.
Thank you for that, Madam Chairwoman. And I really appreciate being a part of this group too, simply because I know that you all have been aware of like all the work we've been doing. And so I just want to just like commend each and every group that I'm a part of. And so I don't know if I have more of a question or more of a comment for you, Arash. I would like if, NDE can, meet with NPHY along with some of the work that's been done here, just to kind of, see that coalescing once again and also get some feedback. So it does actually dovetail in alignment with what our Madam Chairwoman as well as Ms. Brooke Page was asking about, simply because I don't want to operate in a silo. And that's why I like staying grounded in this particular group. But then also just to make sure that, all of our ships are like floating the same way, because we do have that common interest in supporting our young people, especially, me on the education side of things. So now that, some of the projects that we have been like reinstated, we're just waiting for the go ahead. Y'all already know the bureaucracy in state government is a hot mess. So that's the best way I could put it. So, Arash, I look forward to like continued conversations, and I'm glad that I was able to at least contribute in my little way with the YHSI component. And I'm glad to see how it's transitioned into the additional work of YHDP at this point. I'm really happy to see this.
Yes, thank you. And I think 90% of what you said was the pitch that Michelle was asking for about why to join the group. So pitch received. Thank you, Dr. Pam. Any
Hey,
other?
Adrian.
Yes.
I was curious about, you said you had an extra 30 seconds to share who was funded.
Yeah. So let me get my little cheat sheet. Okay, yeah. So for permanent, I'll go by category. For permanent supportive housing, Help of Southern Nevada was awarded $1.1 million, and they were the only permanent supportive housing that was awarded. For transitional housing, rapid rehousing, 3 providers were awarded. The first is the LGBTQ Plus Center of Southern Nevada for $1.2 million. These other 2 groups, I know this is going to sound weird to say, but many in our community do not know who they are, including the big 3 providers, NPHY, St. Jude's, Help. We're not sure who they are, but the county knows who they are, so they may be able to speak more. But there's 2 groups, one called the Nevada School Foundation. They were awarded almost $2 million. And then Next Step for Youth, or an organization called Next Step for Youth, was awarded about $900,000. We're not sure who those 2 players are. Maybe someone else on this call who is on the scoring part can speak more to that if there is anyone on the call. For transitional housing, there was 2 awards. One was the Nevada Partnership for Homeless Youth for $650,000, and the other was for Next Step, again, for about $460,000. For diversion, NPHY was awarded $250,000 for a diversion project, and then Help of Southern Nevada was awarded about $410,000 for a diversion project. For navigation, we have 2 groups that were awarded. One is Help of Southern Nevada. They were awarded just shy of $400,000 for a youth navigation project. And Nevada Homeless Alliance, it was awarded about just shy of $320,000 for a peer navigation project. And then the last one is, no surprise, HMIS applied and was awarded $500,000, which is the max for their YHDP HMIS mapping that they will do. And that is the complete list of about 8.2 minus the planning working group dollars, which are mainly going to be used to fund consultants and to pay for YAB compensation.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Any other questions? Okay, well, if not, Madam Chair, I'll pass the baton back to you, but I just want to thank everyone on the call for their support. Many of you helped out in some way with both either YHCP or YESI. And to be quite frankly, YESI is, YHCP is a funding round, but YESI was a response to our community's work. We couldn't have made up a good application to get YESI. YESI had to demonstrate that there are years of on-the-ground work already happened that need to be furthered to get these dollars. And that's the work that we all do together to further the issue of youth homelessness, at least, which is part of this group's purview. So just really appreciate all the work, all the camaraderie, and all the coordination and collaboration that we have. We are really finally moving and building quite a bit of momentum on youth homelessness in the state of Nevada. And I just do not want to lose the momentum. And thank you to each of you for being part of that, because you all are. So just thank you, and pass it back to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Thank you, Arash, and thank you for all that you and your team are doing, and the leadership that you give not only to Southern Nevada, but to the rest of the state around the issues with youth homelessness. So thank you. Okay, so with that, let's go ahead and close agenda item number 6, and we'll move on to agenda item number 7. This is for information only, but I anticipate that this probably will be a lot of discussion. So we will have updates on the 2025 legislative session and the connection to our strategic issues. So our Southern Nevada Lived X team, I believe, is here to walk us through, help us with understanding what came out of our 2025 legislative session. Who's here from the Lived X team?
Hey, thanks y'all for having me. It's exciting to see some familiar faces. Hi, Michelle.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you? Good to see you.
Good.
My name is Tysican Hall. My pronouns are she, her. I am one of the very new lived experience specialists here at Nevada Homeless Alliance. Before I get into talking about our 83rd legislative session, I wanted to just walk everybody through a really brief-ish history on the Lived X team, if I may. In late spring of 2022, the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, we all know that, Technical Assistance Program, presented a 6-week training on the critical importance of elevating the voices of people with lived experience, or PLE. I will use acronyms moving forward, so just PLE, and decision-making bodies. So Nevada Homeless Alliance is very proud to be part of that very influential cohort. Hi, Dr. Katrina, that's my boss. So later that summer, HUD released the STOFO, prompting Clark County to seek PLE involvement in the scoring and ranking process. The county reached out to NHA, proposing the inclusion of individuals with lived experience to provide that direct input. And at the same time, our Clark County's assigned HUD TA providers launched a survey targeting Operation Home providers to gather feedback on services, including a question asking whether respondents had lived experience with homelessness or housing insecurity. So from this survey, a group was formed to focus on bringing those with lived experience into the conversation. And then by August 2022, 2 distinct groups had emerged, one focused on PLE involvement in the NOFO process, and another comprised of people with lived experience of homelessness and or housing insecurity who were also Operation Home service providers. And then the groups met and merged in November 2022, forming what would later be known as the Lived X Consultants. And the Lived X team's journey has been ongoing since this merger, participating in a range of projects at the local, state, and national levels. Notably, they spearheaded the Coordinated Entry Secret Shopper program in Southern Nevada, which became the catalyst for the ongoing changes in our coordinated entry processes. Additionally, the team has engaged in surveys of people experiencing homelessness. They conducted focus groups, participated in panels, completed scoring and ranking tasks, and co-trained community partners on housing problem solving. In addition, LivedX team members are part of every Southern Nevada COC homelessness working group, committee, and board. And then in 2025, NHA hired 2 full-time lived experience specialists. So I'm one of them. My counterpart is Michael Wheelock, who is not here today, but wanted to be. And then, of course, this transition marks the evolution of the team, moving from the LivedX consultants to the LivedX team. And it also included the incorporation of NHA staff members and independent contractors to broaden the team's capacity and impact. So today, the Southern Nevada LivedX is a diverse group of individuals dedicated to fostering a compassionate and empathetic community where the stigma surrounding homelessness is dismantled through education, understanding, and shared experiences, all with the mission to ensure the unique voices of individuals with lived experiences are meaningfully, emphasis on meaningfully integrated into policy, strategies, and community-wide initiatives driving positive change in the systems that serve them. And so with that, upon being hired for this position, we were tasked with our first major project, which was developing a policy tracker that was focused on housing, homelessness, domestic violence, mental health, substance use, medical and Medicaid for the 83rd legislative session, which was our most recent session, and to also track some federal policy. And so I wanted to thank you all on the subcommittee that provided updates to the tracker. Those changes are now reflected on the tracker, and education has now been added as a category. So thank you so much for that. Am I permitted to share my screen so I can show y'all the cool stuff we've been working on? Awesome. Okay. Period. Okay. Let me know if y'all can see this. See what we got going on here. Period. Thank you, Michelle. So this is our page for the policy tracker, and I will drop links for this as well as a couple of other bits of information in the chat once I am through with this presentation. But this is where you'll be able to view the tracker that Michael and I had created. You see a cute little screenshot right here, and then you can click here to view not the presentation, the tracker itself. So you can see the bill number is all the way to the left. So you can see the sponsors for each bill. You can see the summary for the bills, and you'll be able to see the category of which it's in. And you can see that education is there, and the status. So whether it's passed, vetoed, if it was pending, we're not in the session anymore, so nothing is pending. But if it was, it would be pending. So I wanted to also highlight a couple of bills that we have on the tracker, starting with AB 283. Unfortunately, for the third overall legislative session in a row, tenants have been left behind. So most of our tenant protections were vetoed in this session. And AB 283 is one of them. This was vetoed for the second time. This would reform our summary eviction process, because Nevada has one of, if not the fastest eviction process in the country, where tenants have 7 judicial days to essentially sue themselves in order to contest that eviction in court. So our system is unlike any of the other 49 states. It fails to provide tenants with due process, forces them to navigate a confusing and unfair and disorienting system. And this bill, AB 283, would have required landlords to file a complaint with the court first while requesting an eviction order. It would provide tenants with more time to respond. It would ensure that tenants are notified of their rights, and it would just help to prevent unjust evictions and provide a more balanced legal process. And so unfortunately, this was vetoed for the second time on June 5th. But wanted to bring this up here again in this space, and I brought this up on the Provider Connect call as well, if you were on that, that I think as we've seen for the past couple of sessions and as we're seeing federally, I think that this is, I think, another opportunity to talk about the need for a larger focus on prevention and an increase in flexible funding to meet that need and really protect our community here in Nevada. But we did have a bill that did pass that was related to housing, and that is AB 121. This was sponsored by, actually, I'm not sure if I said this for AB 283, but that was sponsored by Assemblymember Carter. AB 121 was sponsored by Assemblymember Considine, and it seeks to eliminate or cap the amount of money that a landlord or property owner can charge renters over the course of a tenant's lease term. It aims to increase transparency in the rental housing market by uncovering any excessive, surprise, or arbitrary rental fees. So part of this requires landlords to provide a free way to pay their rents, and that landlord can't profit from the rent payment option, and any fees that are charged as part of a payment option would need to be identified clearly in a rental agreement. They'd have to state the rent as a single price, so that would eliminate the resort fee style listing of required costs that would be allowed. And tenants are also now able to read a boilerplate lease before actually putting down a deposit. So the landlord has to provide them a copy to review or post the lease online so that they can actually review that thoroughly. And so that information is here as well. And then if you wanted to look at the overview, take that little link. I love a hyperlink. It'll take you to the, if this will load, it'll take you to the overview on Nellis. And then similarly, we have that model on the federal tab. So you're able to see where certain proposals are in the process, if they are pending a presidential signature, if they pass the House, if they're still waiting on the House, and vice versa with the Senate. And then similarly, the links are here. You can go and you can peruse the links as well. And then also, if you scroll down just a little bit further, you'll be able to see a submission form, which will streamline and ease the process moving forward of any updates that anybody in the community might have in terms of the 83rd session or the federal bill or the federal policies that are out and about. So you can select the type of bill that you want to submit the form on. It'll take you to the second page where you can select the category for the bill. You can put in the bill number, the sponsors, the co-sponsors, link us to the bill. And then similarly, on the federal side, you'll be able to do that as well. And then we will regularly update this tracker on the sites days, I believe. Yeah, so that's my presentation. Thank you so much for having me again. This was fun-ish to do. It's fun for me to be able to like have my hands in policy and see what they got going on. But it's also, of course, a bit disheartening when we see things like our housing bills gets vetoed or they die in the session. And yeah, that's all. Actually, we'll open it up for questions if anybody has any questions.
Dr.
Can you guys
Katrina.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, because sometimes people can't hear me. So Ty, can you give an example of the other fees in the second bill that you talked about? Like what types of other fees were they trying to charge previously that this bill is blocking?
Let me pull up my little notes. It's not in here. Let me see it.
So while you're looking, I don't want to distract you, but keep looking. I think I was at one of the hearings, and there were a couple of people who testified, and if their rent was like $1,000, they would go to this whatever site, and it would be like $100 or more worth of fees to pay their rent or something, right? Are those the fees that you're kind of talking about?
So those would be the types of fees. So like any fees pertaining to like an additional service charge. I know when I pay my rent, there's an additional fee that they raised $1 in order for me to just pay my rent through the payment portal. So that's part of it. And then there are like other fees, like I'm reading right now, that there are things that like lifestyle fees that some landlords have added to certain rental agreements. So things like that, things that are making it more difficult for people to not only get into housing, but to sustain that housing. So things that don't necessarily make sense but are added there. Like I know for certain rental properties, like tenants are required to pay for valet trash whether or not they use it, and that fee continuously goes up. Like mine went up this past leasing period, and so it's things like that.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Any other questions?
Yes. Is this tracker on the website?
Yes. The page that I just shared with you all is on the website. I am going to drop the link in the chat that will take you directly to the tracker.
You can't drop anything in the chat. The chat is blocked.
I will not do that. I will give that information to someone who can send that out to all of you. And then you will have that information.
So we need to send that to Abigail, and she will make sure that that gets out to us.
Hi, thank you so much. I had a question. This is Brooke. This is a really important just process of you all taking the time, number one, to track all of these important policy impacts. So thank you for taking the time to do this and then having a system in place where you can track it in perpetuity with the form. Also, I was curious about the scope of your tracking, and I've seen during the last legislative session that there was policy that could be detrimental to people experiencing homelessness, things like, you know, banning people from the resource corridor for multiple years or issues related to that. Are those things that from the defensive side, in addition to tenant rights, like are you all kind of looking at the full gamut of policy and housing, or is there a particular scope that you're focusing on, and how, like what information would be appropriate for this form?
We are looking at the full gambit. We think that it's important information for our community to know, whether it is something that would benefit Nevadans or something that would be detrimental to our community. We want to be able to have that in a centralized place where people can go and see the things that are occurring here in our community.
Great.
And federally.
So really quick, this is Dr. Katrina again. So when I gave the assignment to the brand new Live Desk consultants, I just gave them those broad topics that she mentioned in the beginning. But like she said, yes, we want everything. And so if you're able to add bills that are, you know, detrimental or helpful for people experiencing homelessness or low income residents, please add it. We can just create a new category. So that is vital. Like, exactly. Yeah, to be on there. Thank you for asking that, Brooke.
Appreciate y'all. Thank you for this work.
Other questions or comments?
Concerns even, but hopefully none.
Yeah, this is a lot. There's a lot of information there. There's a lot of moving parts. So really appreciate the huge lift that you all did, Tyson, and that's just phenomenal. And I'm really looking forward to getting the link. Right, I saw the workbook that went around, but really getting the link and getting in and being able to dive into it. I'm really excited to get that. So I appreciate that. Thank you so much for the work that you're doing. And my understanding is that you all will stay on top of things as they progress and also stay on top of things at the federal level. Is that correct?
We will continue to be updating for the 83rd session and federally, and we have a schedule set for Fridays. As updates come in, they will be reflected onto the tracker and then posted on that page that you will get a link to. It's just not in here.
Okay, awesome. Appreciate that so much. Team, for the Technical Assistance Committee, this is good information, and it's information that's important for us to know for the action plan. So now what? How do we use this information with our action plan, and what do we do with it? What are our next steps? So I think that's the discussion piece here. And don't be shy. Brooke?
Yeah, I think it's an important question. Brooke, for the record, it would be great if we could align these efforts with the policy pillar and the work that we're doing related to policy. And, in the event that the Interagency Council kind of decides on our role as a technical assistance working group, if there's an opportunity for us to dive deeper into these policies, track them, and make recommendations through that work stream for policy, it feels like it would align there.
Dr. Janelle, for the record, Brooke, I totally agree with your assessment on that, given that seeing like how heavy many of these bills are and how they're impacting all of our agencies almost as a gut punch at one time. This would be a great way to combine forces, and for those entities that help push positive policies, we could actually garner support behind each and every one of those as a collective. Because what I'm finding is it's very hard to do certain things alone. And then while this seems very daunting, I'm comforted in knowing that I have the support of this group. So to your point, I think this would be the best way to go once we find out once again what our definitive role is.
Adrian?
Hey, Adrian, for the record, I think that there's an opportunity to take a look at the implications for new bills or laws that are passed at the local level and the federal level, and to compare it to our current strategic plan to make sure that it accurately reflects, any new challenges for the population or new opportunities that we can leverage. I think that in order for it truly to be a living document, we need to make sure that we're continuing to update it. And it seems like there are some significant implications on recently passed legislation that we could look at updating.
And I just want to say excellent job on this presentation. Ms. Hall, you do us proud. I appreciate you. And thank you to Dr. Katrina for being willing to house this work on on that website, because I've already grabbed the link and I've already shared it to NDE. So I was like, I don't want to hear nobody's excuses. Let's go.
Thank you, Dr. Pam. All right. Other thoughts, ideas, comments, next steps?
Brooke, for the record, I'll just make one more comment on this. Also, CSH has a policy group, a federal policy team that tracks a lot of the policies that are impacting HUD and health and housing and things that sort of impact the populations that we serve, that in a very digestible way. So there might be an opportunity for you all to leverage those policy updates to support your work too. So you don't necessarily have to read billions of pages of bills that are digested kind of to address the needs of our sector. So definitely happy to offer that as a resource.
I think that's a resource for all of us. So, so Brooke, if you could maybe share that around to everybody, I think that might be helpful. But definitely to Tysican and her team.
Happy to.
Okay. Anything else? So what I think I heard is that we had some suggestions of taking the new laws that are passed or being passed, or will be going into effect, and kind of cross-referencing them with our plan to identify if there will be any potential impact with the action steps that we have currently in the plan for us to implement for implementation. Is that accurate?
This is Adrian. Yes, I think both negative and positive, looking at like certain new funding for programs and how that could inform the strategic plan, or resolve some of the things that we had suggested, or looking at gaps that weren't considered that now are new challenges given the implications of various laws or policy. And I don't know, I can't provide an example necessarily, but I think that it's worth looking at, just to make sure that we are continuing to look at the strategic plan and make sure that it's being updated in real time.
So who's going to look at that? How are we going to do that? When are we going to do that? So I guess we're kind of throw out, we need to do that, but let's talk about how we're going to make that happen. Otherwise, we will say we need to do it, but it won't happen unless we actually put it to action, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would propose, everybody taking a look at the spreadsheet, the policies and what the implications might be. And then as a group, just taking a look at our strategic plan and, deciding whether or not we want to make any revisions to it, or if we agree that it still accurately reflects the goal for this work group.
So just for clarification, then is your proposal then that we have an agenda item on the next agenda to have further discussion on the impacts or implications of any new laws or policies from the 2025 session or federal legislation on our strategic plan?
I think it would be an agenda item to review our current strategic plan and discuss any revisions that need to be made using, any information, any changes that our community has seen, regardless of whether it's a policy change or something else. I think no matter what, we should, be taking a look at the strategic plan at least quarterly to make sure that it continues to be an accurate representation of our community.
This is Brooke for the record. I agree with Adrian in that we should be reviewing the strategic plan. I'm curious when that 5-year plan is up and what exactly the role that we're kind of delegated to do, if it's us or if it's the Interagency Council that reviews it and kind of assesses next steps related to it. Just curious about our sphere of influence.
Great question. I believe the strategic plan was adopted in October of 2022. So yeah, so I think you're right, Dr. Pam. I think we have another 2 years. I can't hear what you're saying, but I can see what you're saying. So same thing for me. I can hear you, but yeah, I think we've got another 2 years before we have to revise the strategic plan, review and revise the strategic plan.
I agree with everything that everyone has put forth. And so I guess it is just a matter of charting those next steps. And Adrian, you brought up some excellent points, as well as you did, Brooke, with just kind of resettling our footing and determining the next steps forward. Because, as I'm looking at the legislation, I can see where, the policy part of the work we do would be the lead, where the other areas would be applicable in terms of the other 7 strategic issues and how it would fold in underneath that as a collective effort.
Other thoughts or ideas? Brooke, I just saw your hand drop. Were you going to unmute yourself?
Oh no, I don't have a comment. Thank you though.
Okay. Just checking. Okay. So sounds to me like we will have another agenda item next month. Can we all, I know we can't vote on this item, but can we all just visually just kind of agree that we will take a look at the legislative items that we were presented today and come back prepared next month to discuss the implications on our strategic plan. And we'll talk later on our agenda on what our agenda items are for next month, and we can identify our homework assignments at that point. So, all right, thank you all. If there are no other comments or suggestions at this point, we will go ahead and close this agenda item and move on to the next agenda item, which is discussion of agenda items for our next meeting on August 19th, 2025. Oh my goodness, it's August already. That was a little bit of a surprise. The summer was quickly passing us by. Okay, so agenda items. Other than our standing agenda items and the agenda item we just discussed. Abigail, did you get the wording for the agenda item for next month from the agenda, the item that we just finished?
Yes.
Okay. Any other agenda items for next month? You have to unmute yourself.
Michelle,
Yes.
can you hear me? Okay, just making sure.
Is a standing agenda item to applicants?
You just faded out, Adrian.
Of course. Am I back?
I think so.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, sorry. Do we have a standing agenda item still to review any new applications and vote on new membership? Okay, just want to make sure. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, we don't want to miss out on that. Yes. Anything else?
This is Brooke for the record. I was curious about the next interagency council meeting and if we would be able to receive an update on the strategic action plan based on their feedback on their agenda, if that's a topic that they're going to be raising.
That's a great question. When is their next meeting?
I may, Madam Chairwoman. Their
Yes,
next
please.
meeting that will be on August 21st. And with Brooke's question, we have not received any feedback yet. They have until August 1st to return back to us.
And our meeting is before their meeting on the 19th.
Correct.
So, okay, thank you.
So Abigail, just a clarification question. We've asked them to give us some direction by August 1st. Is that what?
That was part of the ask, and also we asked for their input regarding the newly formatted action plan.
Okay. So can we ask you all, you and your team, that in the event that they give us something we can work with by August 1st, that we have an agenda item to review their feedback and direction, and for us to, have, I'll let you all wordsmith it, but, essentially to review, discuss, and determine next steps based on the feedback and direction of the ICHH. And Brooke, thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, anything else? I mean, it might be a pretty meaty agenda if we all do our homework on the legislative session crosswalk with the plan and have some good content to discuss. It could be a meaty meeting to really have good things to talk about and have some good conversation. So that would be really exciting to know how things that progressed in this last legislative session will impact our action plan and what we need to do if we need to change course or things that we need to be aware of as we move forward. So I think those are important things for us to consider and to have conversation on. So between that and direction from the ICHH, it should be, I think, a good agenda. And hopefully we'll have some new applicants that we can review and vote on, and get some new folks to the table and have some good discussion as well, and have a full-on technical assistance committee at our meeting. And maybe y'all can have coffee and caffeine before the next meeting, so we can have a really robust discussion. Yes. All right. Last call for things for the agenda. Not hearing
Hey,
anything.
Michelle, this is Adrian again.
Yes, Adrian.
Hi. The new member that was unable to join this meeting, given a last minute call, should we revisit the agenda item to introduce ourselves again? Provided she's here? Or no?
Dr. Janelle, for the record, I would like if we did have like a, because I know we had an extended one for everyone that was here, but to Adrian's point, I think, would it be okay to just keep that as an agenda item until we need to change it, given that we're going to hopefully have more members joining very soon? I'm just asking for a friend and for the folks in the back.
Well, I don't think it's a bad idea. I think there's value to that, as we have new members coming on, that it's, and that's the new members is a standing item. So I think that it does kind of make sense. Maybe we do the voting in the new members first, and then do the introducing ourselves and new members introducing themselves, and that way it's kind of that order, and have those standing together until we're full. What do folks think about that? Just a thumbs up, hearts, clapping of hands, some kind of emoji to let me know what you think. Okay.
It's Adrian's fault.
I think she'll take it. All right. So yeah, Abigail, if we could do that.
Sorry, yes, we'll work on the draft and we'll work with you, Michelle, during the debrief.
Awesome. Okay. Anything else for the agenda? Going once? Going twice? Okay. If anybody comes up with anything, last minute, whatever, send an email to Abigail and team, copy myself and Brooke, and we will see if it makes sense to get that on the next agenda. If not, we'll see about a future agenda. With that, I'm going to close agenda item number 8, and we will move on to agenda item 9, which is our last public comment for this meeting. No action may be taken upon a matter raised until the matter has been specifically added to an agenda. Comments are limited to 3 minutes. If you are making public comment via phone, please call 1-775-321-6111. The ID number is 489-058-294#. We are now open for public comment. please unmute yourself and state your name for the council or the committee. It's not a council. Any public comment? Okay, I am not seeing any. So, Abigail, nothing came in while we were in our meeting?
There is none.
Okay, so since nothing came in, I'm not seeing any, I'm not hearing any, then it is, I will close the agenda, this agenda item. And agenda item number 10 is adjournment. It is 2:42. And I will adjourn this meeting of the Interagency Council on Homelessness to Housing Technical Assistance Committee. And we will see you all next month, same bat time, same bat channel. Thank you all for being here. We appreciate y'all.
Bye-bye.